we've got a few different things to discuss on the program. Dan, welcome to the program. Hope you are safely ensconced in your home and remote working today. It's good to have you.
Yes, I am. Enjoying the snow outside right now.
It looks nice, doesn't it, when you just look at it? You don't have to do anything to it. You just look at it and say, oh, second winter, it's beautiful. All right, well, I wanted to talk about something. Go ahead, please.
No, go ahead. I didn't have anything.
All right. I wanted to talk about something I referenced on the show late last week, and that was a teacher from Sturgeon Bay who, I believe she was from Sturgeon Bay, who went on TikTok and did about a 3.5 minute, super calm 3.5 minute explanation on how she's created this forum all by herself. And that forum is the gender transition forum, basically. And she creates a list of students' names, their preferred pronouns, and then a mark that says whether or not to share with parents their gender transition. And she goes on really calmly. She's like, I just thought I'd share this with other people who want to do it themselves. And so I'm asking you, Will has already filed lawsuits. We already have Supreme Court cases. We have executive orders. You can't do this. But how do you stop this sort of soft imposition of this illegal policy from moving forward if teachers are doing it on their own?
Yeah, we just have to be vigilant. Parents have to share information with each other. They have to be on alert. They have to ask their kids what's going on at school. They have to educate their kids about what they could expect from their teachers, and then they need to share the information with other teachers. I mean, you're absolutely right. So there are, and this list is changing all the time. Perhaps 14 at least school districts that actually have explicit policies on their websites that have been passed by their school boards that allow secret gender transition, and that those are unconstitutional now, but these school districts still have them. They still have them up on their website. The problem is, as you note, is that there are likely many, many more districts, particular schools or particular teachers that are implementing their own secret gender transition policies, and it can be, you say, these are soft policies. This is the idea that a teacher in a classroom will ask the students, what is your preferred name and pronoun? And then say something like, is it safe for me to use this name and pronoun when I'm calling and emailing home? Sort of a suggestion that let's keep this little secret between you and me. And we have a rash of, sex abuse cases that have come out of the school districts, and we wonder why we have them when we have created a culture where we train teachers to keep secrets away from parents on the issue of sexuality and sexual attraction and sexual orientation. No wonder we have these horrible cases that Tony Evers and the DPI were not investigating about teacher and student interactions, sexual interactions, and the problem is that we've basically trained teachers that it's okay to keep secrets from parents, and that's not only unconstitutional, it is dangerous and can lead to criminal activity.
We've also trained kids not to trust their parents. We've allowed the schools to train children that it's okay to have a different adult talk to you about sex without your parents' knowledge. I mean, when that's become normalized, so this is why we're saying this. When you normalize an adult that is not a parent having a sexual conversation with a child, it is not that unreasonable to think that child is not going to be wary of sexual advances, is not going to have a sort of a sense of safety and how to protect themselves, because their parents don't even realize they've been induced to trusting a stranger about sex. A lot of these parents probably have no idea these conversations are going on, Dan.
Yeah, they don't. And to show how dangerous this is, Milwaukee Public Schools has something called a confidential gender support plan, which is a multi-page form that teachers sit down and fill out with a student. It could be in elementary school, could be in middle school, and they ask questions of the student like, if your parents are not aware of this, how will we handle school-home communications? What are some other ways the school needs to anticipate the student's privacy being compromised? What restrooms will you use on campus, and will you be changing clothes at school? And where will you be changing clothes at school? And how can we help you change clothes at school? These ideas that, what are we going to do for class trips? What sort of things are we going to handle on overnight trips? Like these are literally Q&As that a teacher sits down with a student, parent has no idea what's going on, and the student is the one deciding all of these things about where they should go to the bathroom, where they should change clothes, what should happen on overnight trips, what do they want to happen, what sort of room do they want to, what sex of a classmate do they want to sleep in the same hotel room when they go on an overnight trip. These are all under the complete authority of the child to make these decisions according to these school districts, and that's why it's so dangerous. It's just upside down.
Why can't we get them to stop? I mean, we've got Supreme Court precedents on parents' rights. We've got a rededication of the actual meaning of Title IX. We have multiple executive orders. You have successfully, gotten schools to remove these policies. Why do they persist? Why does eternal vigilance? Why is that required when the law says eternal vigilance shouldn't be required? You shouldn't have to try to figure out whether or not there's a secret gender transition policy at your child's school.
Yeah, there's unfortunately there's got to be multiple lines of attack. This is almost a religious faith that these people have about gender ideology. And so, number one, it would help if we had a governor, a DPI that was interested in enforcing the law, that was interested in withholding state funds from districts that are not in compliance. Actually, it'd be interesting if this Trump administration started withholding funds from these districts that it knew was violating the law and has records. We have evidence that we've given to the U.S. Department of Education proving that Milwaukee is doing this, proving that Madison is doing this, and that Trump administration has been sitting on this for months and months and not been doing anything about it. So we're trying to put pressure on there. It'd be great if we had legislature that could pass laws that could get signed into law that would prevent these things and put some enforcement mechanisms. It would be nice if we had an attorney general that could actually go and file lawsuits against these districts and teachers to prevent them from doing what they're doing. We are doing all that we can at the Wisconsin Institute for Law and Liberty. And so it does have to take a multi-pronged attack because this is a very deeply embedded leftist woke ideology that people believe in, and that you're not going to make them change the way they believe. They're just going to go to school every day like this woman at Sturgeon Bay, believing that she's saving lives, and that keeping information away from parents is the most important thing. So I mean,
you're describing the law as it's not the law. A law is something that's enforceable. A law is something that's applied fairly. A law is something that we all have to respect and we all have to accommodate. That's the law. But when you don't have to do that, if you're on the right ideological, point on the spectrum, that's not law. That's a narco-tyranny. That's the law applying differently to different people based on characteristics that are ideological. So that's my problem with this is, of course, I know we're mad that the Department of Education hasn't withheld funds, and they should. I don't know why they're sitting on their hands, but they are. But we shouldn't have to rely on that. The simple truth is the law is a handshake at this point. And, the people who are on the wrong side of it, who are getting screwed in the handshake, have no recourse, except maybe someone's dumb enough, like this teacher, to post up a TikTok video and you can go after one individual teacher. Wisconsin Institute for Law and Liberty can, act on your behalf. Or there's someone finds out the hard way that their kid's being gender transitioned and they know to contact you. Otherwise, it's just And then we look at our Supreme Court, and you know exactly how they're going to come down on political cases. And you're thinking to yourself, what do you call this? What kind of system are we living in?
Well, it's a system where the voters have basically acquiesced. All these things you're upset about, probably 60-70% of Wisconsin voters are also very upset about them. But are they so upset that they're willing in April and in November and
right.
In August to go and vote at the polls, or just to fill out a ballot at home and mail it in? Apparently the answer is no for a lot of people. That's what we call some of these people who voted for Trump, we call them low propensity voters. They're happy to show up in 2016, 2020, 2024 when President Trump is on the ballot, and it's all very exciting and we want to make America great again. But those people, they're a huge percentage of them. I think in Wisconsin last time I looked, perhaps over 1 million of Trump voters just won't show up in November to vote in the next election with Tom Tiffany and the Democratic opponent. Perhaps 1 million, maybe 800,000 just won't show up. People who voted for Trump, and so this is what you get if you don't really care enough to vote in every single election. You are acquiescing in, and you're the things that 60, 70, 80% of people support in this state, voter ID, not transing little girls in middle school, all sorts of things like this. You're just going to lose them because you don't care enough to go to the polls. So, I probably sound like I'm shaming people, but I think some people need to be shamed into why are they not even interested in taking just the small step? They don't even have to go to the polls anymore. They can just mail in their ballot.
Right. It's easy.
So,
you can get a ballot sent to you in the mail. You can mail the ballot in. You never have to leave your home. You don't even have to leave your home. And now we've made it so you don't even have to show ID if you want an absentee ballot if you're indefinitely confined. You made a good point. And so essentially, I think we can conclude that anarcho-tyranny, which is what we have when the law does not apply fairly based on politics and ideology, is a choice that people are making. You're making a choice either affirmatively by voting for it, or you're making a choice passively by failing to show up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Who thinks that we should be awarding government money and contracts based on race? Not very many people think we should do that. But you know what? Tony Evers does that to the tune of $300 million every single year. People just allow it to happen. It's just going to happen. It's been happening forever. Giving out scholarships based on race, letting boys in girls' bathrooms, letting boys on girls' sports teams, undermining attacks on our school choice system, attacks on our voter ID, this whole redistricting game, this constant battle from the left. The left is the one that is just totally committed to pushing these things, and they're the ones showing up at the polls, and they're the ones, running up a tab in Dane County every single election, because you know what? They care more. They care more than the people on the right. And because the people on the right are busy making business, they're busy making money running small businesses. That's what they're too busy to. They're busy being plumbers and electricians and firefighters. They're happy with their life in their red county, but they don't realize the other side is out there trying to dismantle everything that they love, trying to dismantle law enforcement, trying to dismantle our courts and the rule of law, trying to prevent our kids from being safe in schools. Allowing all these horrible things, wasting our tax monies, destroying our schools, achievements going down the tubes. They're doing that because they care more, and we're too busy just living our lives and being happy, I guess.
Well, I would say this. Nobody's too busy to, binge watch television on Netflix. No one seems too busy to find all kinds of time for frivolity. So I don't buy this. I'm too busy living my life, running my own business. That does not sell. I appreciate the time, though, Dan. Thank you very much.
Thank you.